Hello, in this video we will be creating a Python program that will compute law of sines that will do law of sines for triangles. We did a law of sines with triangles in a video using math, but in this video we will be using Python to do it. So I've already created a file called lawofsines.py, made a comment here, law of sines program. So what I've done is I've created all the functions that we need for this program except the calculation functions. See, it says def calculate BCC given AB, and we're printing right now a city in Canada because we haven't computed the. We will be computing in this program, in this video, what this function is going to do. That's the idea. So the first functions, the first few functions, that would be the first about five functions here, are all about user input. So user will input a value, say for A or B, and then side A. So capital B would be angle B, and then side B would be lowercase b in this program, and mathematically also. And what this function, all of these functions do is that they restrict negative values because our angles and sides will be positive in this program, just like in math. And that's what we do up to C, which is lowercase c. That's the sixth function there. And then we have the print menu function. So this is the core of this program. This is what we're focusing on. So the first option is solving for two angles and a side when we are given one angle and two other sides. Notice that this B is opposite of the angle B. That is we have to know an angle and its opposite side to compute the side, the others angles and sides, because we're using law of sines in this program. So option 2 is when we're given two angles and a side, we can solve the rest. That's obvious. It doesn't matter which side it is. And then option 3 is when we know two angles and a side that is not related to the angles at all. So it's the side that is not corresponding to the given angles. We solve the rest of them. This one is pretty rare, but it comes up in Math is Fun. So that's why I included it there. And now we have the three calculation functions that we will be filling in later. And then we have the main function that takes care of traffic. See, we are, if the choice is 1, then we get from the user angle A and the two sides. That's what we do. We call the function get A or get B or whatever. And then we have exception handling, or else we calculate, we call the function that does all the calculations, and we set a flag to false and we exit the program. So this is how the traffic flow of this code works. And then lastly, we ask the user if they want to finish the program or not, if they want to keep running. All right, so let's go ahead and run this program now and see how it works. So enter a value. We're going to say 4. That's one of the options. It says invalid. Enter a string. It's not one of the options. Now I'm going to choose one of the options, hit number 1. And then it's going to ask us for angle A. So let's hit -1. It says input must be positive. So A must be positive. Let's enter 60. Then enter A. Let's enter E. It goes all the way back to the angle A. So let's enter a number, and then 6. B, if we hit 9, whatever. So it just says Fort Nelson. It doesn't do anything. But it is, the program it's like a skeleton, basically. It's all it needs to be done is do all the calculations, and the program will work. It's fine. We know that we call the functions, we have exception handling, and we ask the user if they want to exit, and so on. So I'm going to exit the program, and what we're going to do now is we're going to fill in the functions that I talked about, the three functions that we need to fill in to complete this program. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's start with the second one. The first one is the most rigorous function. This is where we solve for, that's just where we were given two sides and an angle. And as you recall, that required most work because we either have one solution, no solution, or two solutions. So that's going to be the last function we're going to build. So let's work on the second function here, and the third function, and then we will come back to the first function, and our program should be done. So let's in this function we're going to calculate side B angle C and side C. So let's do that. B equals we're going to have sine of radians. B, this would be the angle B. This is divided by like this, and we have sine radians A. A would be the angle, and then we raise this. Well, we multiply A. So this, what is this doing? It's calculating B as sine B over sine A times A. So that's how we did it mathematically also in the first video when we did the triangles. We solved them mathematically. All right, so then C, angle C equals, we know A and B in this case, we already know that. So C equals 180 minus A plus B. So that's how we calculate C. And then side C equals, I'm going to print, or I'm going to copy and paste this one here and then put it here. And we're going to change some things about it. So I need sine radians C now, because I'm looking at side C divided by sine radians A times A. That stays the same. So we calculated B, we needed angle B. We calculate C, we need the angle C. And this C comes from here. So we calculate C first, and then when we do that, we calculate this side. That's opposite. So that's it. Basically, we now print a blank line, and then we print C. Say C equals, I'm going to round to 2 decimals in this program. So percent point 2F, and then come out here, percent capital C. All right, so copy and paste this for 2 times, and then delete this one. Delete this one. Once we do our calculations, we don't need anything related to geography or anything like that. So we have B equals percent point 2FB here, like this. And then side C would be lowercase c and then C. So that's how we create our first function. We calculate B, C, and C as we're given at the angles A and B and A, just like that. A, B, A. We take parameters. We get user input for these as user input, and then we call our function that uses those inputs as parameters and then calculates the rest of the stuff. Okay, so that's the first function. That will be the second function in this program. The first function, we'll come back to it. Just delete Fort Liard. It's not like Yellowknife or something like that, freezing all the time, even though it's close to it. It is in Northwest Territory. So anyway, so let's calculate C in the third function. So we say C is 180 minus A plus B. I'm just going to copy and paste. So that's the first thing we do in this function. And then now we can calculate B and A. So B, just copy from here, paste. Once you create one line of code regarding the sides, then you can just copy and paste basically and then change variables that we need to calculate. In this case, we know C, right? We calculated C, and we are given the lowercase c. So this needs to be lowercase c. And then for side, this last one is side A. That's what we need to solve for. And this is side radians A. And this one would be C again. Always go for the value that is given to us, because the others, it's not gonna be a mistake or anything, but I'd rather use the values that's given to the user. Those are exact values usually, and it's less likely to mess up our program or make a mistake or something. All right. So that's how we create that function, and now all we have to do is copy and paste these lines of code down here and change to whatever it is that we need. So this is A and A there. All right, so those two functions are rather easy. Let me actually go in order. So A, we can change this to A, and then B, it's better to have it go in order, because we are always, when we calculate, we calculate angles first in alphabetically, and then sides first alphabetically. So that's what we did here in the first function. So let's follow that same logic in the second function. All right, so now let's go back to the first function. Delete Fort Nelson. It's a nice city also, close to Fort Liard, but it is not as cold, obviously. All right, so in this function, we are given angle A, side A, and side B. So if you recall, we had no solutions, one solution, and two solutions. So I'm going to start with the one solution here. So with the if else. If A is greater than or equal to B, or A equals B times sine, this would be radians A. So that's the if command. For this radians, if you have trouble understanding, I apologize, but this radian converts it to degrees. We have to have this radians in there to deal with the value that the user inputs will be as a degree, will be a degree basically. But that's why this radians takes care of it. All right, so if that's the case, then we can say B rad, that is in radians now, equals sine radians, and then A, this is divided by A, and then multiplied by B. So let's put like this and then multiply it by b. All right. So that's calculating b in radians right now. So then b equals, we could have done this in one line, but I'd rather do it in 2 lines. Degrees and then arc sine, a sine, b rad. Do we have that? Oh, it shouldn't be that. It should be like this. Like this. All right, so that's B. And then C is 180 minus A plus B, like that. And then C equals sine radian C. So then side C, we can just copy and paste this into here. But then we are given, actually this should be fine. But I'm going to change it to B times B. And the reason I did that is because I solved for B here. I'm going to use that B that I have now in degrees. And of course, B is given to us here in the parameter, in the function. So that's where this B comes from. And then now B1 equals 180. No, we don't need this right now. And actually, I am going to change this back to A and then A here. Because actually, we are given the angle A, so let's just use it along with the side A. That makes more sense. So that's calculating C right there. And just copy and paste. Let's see, BCC. I have that. I don't have that, but we can copy and paste this and then change it up. So, okay, so in this case, we need capital B and then capital C, lowercase c. Capital C. So this is B here and then C. C. Okay, that's the first case. If we have one solution, recall that if A is greater than or equal to B, if we were given A being the angle, lowercase a the side and side B, then A is greater than or equal to B or A equals B sine A means that we get one solution. All right. So elif B greater than A and B or A greater than B times sine A, sine radians A. Yeah, it's like this, A. So in this case, we have two solutions. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy and paste everything. Let me see 1 second. Yes, I'm going to copy and paste everything here. And in this case, I am using angle B and its corresponding side. But now I need to add a few more. I need to add the second set of solutions. So we say B1 equals 180 minus B, because that is the second angle, right? When we first found the angle B, if you recall in the video we did about law of sines, then our second angle will be 180 minus the B that we found. That is if we have two solutions. We first make the decision that it's either one or two or no solutions, and then based on if it's two solutions, then this is true. The second angle will be 180 minus the first angle. That was B. Okay. And then C1 then is 180 minus A will be the same. So 180 minus, here it would be A plus B1. So that's C1. A is not changing, but C will change in the second solution. So then C1 is going to just look like C, but we are going to change some things about it. So C1 is going to require the angle C1. Yeah, we calculated. I am using A and A, like this. So that's what I need. Okay. So now I can print everything now. So let's go ahead and do that. So we can just copy and paste that here and then do another blank line. So now we can just so it's more readable and it's easy to follow. This is going to be B1 and then C1. And of course the side will also change. So that's C1. So this should be C1 here. C1. Okay. So we're almost done here. So all we need to do is have an else command, and this else command will be printing that there are no solutions. There are no solutions. There are two cases for actually there's only one case. If we're given A, B, then if A is less than B, less than or equal to B, then we have no solutions. And that's going to be in the else command that we don't even need to worry about. It'll once we run our code, it'll work just fine.